we have learned about the definition of power, sources of power, influence tactics. Next one, we are going to explore about organizational politics. What is organizational politics? Organizational politics can be defined as self-serving tactics for personal gain at the expense of other people and possibly the organization, meaning that you do something at the expense of others, you neglected others and organization in order to gain something for yourself. These kind of people have a very high personalized power rather than socialized power. Next, we are going to explore on the condition in organization which support organizational politics. With four conditions supporting organizational politics. The first one is organizational change, which is we know basically changes in organization creates uncertainty and ambiguity as the organization move from an old set of rules and practices to a new set. Basically, during the change, employee act politically to protect their valued resources, positions, self-image, and groups. The next one is complex and ambiguous decision making. This occurs when decision makers are given more discretion over resource allocation and use political tactics to influence the factors that might be considered in the decision making processes. Next one is tolerance of politics, meaning that the organization sometimes promote people who are the best politician in the organization but fail to find the best talent to run the company. To make you understand better, tolerance of politics means that in the organization itself, they allow politics to happen. The last one is scarce resources, which is very normal in organization. There is scarce of resources to allocate to different departments, to different people. When budgets are slashed, more people rely on political tactics to safeguard their resources and maintain status quo. We can see here the strong one can gain better than the other one. So that are the four conditions supporting organizational politics. We proceed to the ways how to reduce or minimize this condition. Before we proceed to the way of minimizing organizational politics, let's take a look at the individual differences in organizational politics. As I mentioned earlier in the first slide, those with strong personalized power tend to involve a lot in political behavior. Employees with strong personalized power try to seek more power for themselves compared to those who have socialized power, which they seek power for as a tool to accomplish organizational politics. One predictor of political behavior in the workplace, we call it as Machiavellian, which is those who are very high in Machiavellian are highly motivated to get what they want at the expense of others. They believe that this is very natural and acceptable way to achieve their goals. They also take pleasure in misleading and scheming others in their way up in the organization. High Machiavellian people tend to use lies, manipulation, exploitation, and undesirable influence tactic to be up from others. They discard moral the principle, they are very cynical, seldom trust others, and they believe that getting more than one deserves is acceptable in any way. It's almost impossible to remove organization politics totally from the workplace. However, we can always minimize organizational politics in the workplace. These are four ways to minimize organizational politics. The first one is to provide sufficient resources. Organization politics arise when budgets are slashed and people rely on politics to safeguard their interests. Here, organization can try to add or maintain resources for better distribution. For example, giving the resources to the more urgent department rather than giving to every department. Second, clarify resource allocation rule, which is organizational politics are suppressed when resource allocation decisions are made through clear and simplified rules. Clear formal rules to delegate allocation will help diminish political tactics. Number three, apply effective organization change practices. Change cannot be avoided in any organization. However, leaders can apply organization strategies, particularly through communication, to learning and involvement. When informed information is delivered to employees, they are less likely to engage in organizational politics because they have understand why organization change is needed at that particular time. And number four, push political behavior norms and role models. Organization needs to diagnose and alter system and role modeling that support self-serving behavior in the organization. The organization should support values that oppose to political tactics, and leaders can become role model of organizational citizenship instead of become a organizational politician. That's it. Organizational politics, conditions supporting organizational politics, and how to minimize organizational politics. These are the end of chapter 6. Thank you.